Hey everyone. Lovely. So I was upstairs and I was just answering a text from a very sweet young family in Portugal. And there's been this sound that's been coming in her ears, and as she follows it and it brings her to bliss, and she asked me, did I know about it? And you know, as much as everybody may go, oh, I answer in the same play. Bring everything to the Sacred Heart, including sound, and see what your presence, your soul brings you. It's so important to get this play of your direct pathway with the omnipresence yourself, so we all can stand tall in presence in all situations. Nothing else exists other than that. There's no point in having one person or a scattered few across this Mother Earth in presence and others with the appearance they're below another learning. And yes, very much I honour the sacred teachers, yet to always, always remember we are one. There is no difference between any of us, and you have the same divine within each other. I was upstairs feeling beloved Archangel Michael, whose one of his incarnations was Jesus. And the Buddha energy often follows when he comes in as well. He has been many incarnations, and we all evolve. Archangels and angels are often shown with wings and the glory of them. In the simplicity, they know the dimensions. In the simplicity, they can move through the dimensions, hence often shown with wings. A very simple way of showing one essence. Yet when you see a picture of an archangel, if it's drawn by the muse, if it's drawn by someone in presence, any artwork, any music, any creation, if someone's in presence, you naturally, your soul, your presence, it flames up. You recognize yourself. You recognize who you are. Take the moment and recognize who you all are. Humbly, sweetly, lovingly, to acknowledge that pure flame, that pure streaming that can unfold and may already be streaming so sweet already. Maybe the streaming happens intermittently. Maybe the streaming happens and then other energies bubble up in your system, and there's appearance that you have lost that connection, lost that streaming. In the sweetness of this, it's just that omnipresence, when it rises, creates a pulse, a vibration, sensation, feeling, knowing you're in the presence of the sacred. And as it sweeps through your energy field, anything that is not of that vibration will shimmy up to the surface. It is such a divine awe of creation, how it is laid down for the human experience. So all that rises up is just then for you to touch on with the light of consciousness, let it land in the heart. So that allows that muse, that sacred streaming to expand. The window of that opens. The capacity of you to remain forth in your presence remains open. Yet what may happen is when it rises up, there is an assumption, the mind will grab it. Oh, I'm in this again. Or I'm looking at this again. Or, or how can I have this rage and still be in this divine, or this incredible fear, or these patterns of this, mind that, has all appearance that it doesn't know how to get off the merry-go-round. And it's the most simplest play if you don't follow the mind that is whispering sweet nothings or shouting sweet nothings in your ear to follow it. So the invitation is to be aware as we're dropping deeper and deeper, consciously to allow presence to rise up. And how we do that is just smell your sweet nectar, smell your heart, allow the pureness of your heart to rise. You smell it and feel your love. And love, when you put your attention on your pure love, your sacred heart, and you rest your attention, it's like you keep your attention on the button of pure love. You don't take it off. You allow it to rise up and then settle in your energy field. And the more you invoke it, the more it embodies. It's such a clever design of the play within this dimension. As soon as we humbly, purely rest our attention and awareness, pure heart, it shows itself. Space comes. Yet if the mind is in a pattern, or the emotional body of really nice worn pattern, then it will be scratching at the edges and you'll be back in it before you know it. And this is why I'm inviting you, keep your attention, the button on the sacred heart. Don't take your attention off it. And this is without tension or strain or push. It's the other way. It's actually through surrendering. It is such a clever design. The importance of invoking your presence, and I'm sure many of you know the depths of silence already. And when you drop into it, it's like you have never left, because that's right. When you come home in a depth of richness, you have never left. and the cosmic joke, all the fluff, all the outer expressions have been pushing or shoving or trying or, doing 1,001 exercises, 1,001 whatevers to try and bring you home. And just here, now, you are already there. It's just the matter of shifting your attention and surrendering. And the beauty in the play of omnipresence is, you could say that, what I play with in here often is that we're all sitting around a dining room table. And whatever's on the table is what's your presence from your heart has risen up on the table. And whatever it is, it might be a little bit of anger, it might be a little bit of a conversation, what do I need to do or not do? Whatever it is at any given moment. And you can say the top of the table is the field of your awareness. So that's what's in play. That's the vibration that's happening now in this now moment. What's on the table. Now, if you consciously shift your attention on the sacred heart and keep your attention on the sacred heart, you drop energetically below this table, which then creates a vortex that all what's on the table to naturally stream into the sacred heart. And just like that, there's space. Just like that. It is so incredibly simple that the mind will jump over it. So as you drop down below the table, then anything energetically that is here in your system will present on the table once again, and that incredibly delicious omnipresence feeling is still there, yet your attention has been brought to what's on the table. To tend to lovingly, not follow or run or add other stories or try and push it off the table. We've got a commitment to allow it to be on the table because your presence has brought it up on the table because you're destined, for whatever reason, you've put your hand up, you could say, to experience that energy. And often we've already tried to push it off the table, or we've tried to just deny that it's even on the table. Or when it comes on the table, we add so many other stories to it and bring all the past other stories that it becomes so messy on the table that we almost exhaust ourselves and fall off the table into who we already are, get replenished and bask, and then the way it goes again, things present on the table. So it's a sweet play to recognize when you drop deep, one, to consciously allow presence to rise up, and you will sight what's on the table and it will come to the presence just like that. It's the shining light of being. It will just come. Yeah. So here then, whatever's on the table, to remember this is what's been divinely tabled so that you can tend to it, so it's done. And the simplicity is allowing yourself to keep your attention on the heart, to feel and see whatever's on the table and to allow it consciously to land on the sacred heart. As you go deeper, it not only comes off the table, your presence can rise. Yeah? And in that conscious play of the sacred intimacy of the silence allows it's like a breath within a breath of sacred, because we're designed to play the sacred humbly, sacredly, in love, in pure love. So from one satsang to another, this is why I really invite you, when whatever arises, to feel, see the table, to recognize the table. You're going to really rest your attention on the sacred heart. Feel the love, allow everything on the table to come to the sacred heart and play. Now it's interesting when we have busy lives and we're working, and the assumption that when we're working that we can't play it the same. And the invitation is to allow it to play the same. Allow your presence in the world in every breath. At home in the gloriousness of the mundane, of the ordinary, and whatever you're doing or not doing on the planet. We can recognize, all of us, presence has been up until now quite short within in the world. There's many beings in presence, yet they tend to, retreat away and not be in the world. And our Earth's people have been suffering from this up until whenever. It's about being in the world. In whatever job or whatever you're doing or not doing, bring presence forth. That is the invitation. And at first you may feel, oh, I can't bring this out into my job. Ask who's speaking there. Catch the mind red-handed. And you may have some fear that rises up in this. Allow the fear to be. Because if you actually open this up, when you're in the zone, when you're really flowing at work, you are already in presence. And when it's a bit challenging and sticky, you have a look in that moment. You are in your mind pushing. It's not a maybe. Such a sweet opportunity for all humanity to rise up like never before. Not to say that the opportunity has not already been here in every breath. Yet what we can recognize, the pulse, the wave of all countries that are experiencing the humility, the humbleness of, and may the grace be with the Earth's people in this time. And may we all taste all what we're meant to taste and directly experience, so all the Earth's people, rise up in fresh light from this. Lay down beautiful, boundless pathways of presence and open experience with humility and humbleness, honor, love for each other. simple things that all of us, or maybe some of us, or maybe none of us, took it for granted. The simplicity of being able to be closely walking with another down the street. May we take a moment and just be in our grace, and once again be in the silence as a thanks and gratitude to all those that are in selfless service, seen and unseen. May we celebrate what can never be disrupted in this human experience. Our presence stands tall as a beacon of light, just here. May pure love go to all and everything right now on this emerald sapphire and beyond. May our pure love go to those in selfless service the moment before they're stretched, so we can continue to support those that are in selfless service. May we be humbled in our capacity in presence to stream forth omnipresence in this time. What a privilege we all have. May the breath of freshness of grace and love and gratitude come into all those that are in selfless service. All those that are struggling with the virus as a physical experience, and all those that have beloveds that they're in their pain of loss. May our love go purely to all of them. May those that are passing with the virus, may they find a depth of peace within their systems like never before. May they allow the experience like never before. May the grace hold them like never before. Iche. Lovely, everyone. So I'd like to hear from you. What are you noticing? What's happening in everyday life? What's happening if you're going outside? What's coming up? Annika, I know the other day that you went to click on, so let's play.
Okay. Let me unmute.
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me. Great. Yeah.
Lovely to see you.
It's so lovely to see you and to be with everyone in the call. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity that you took the effort to organize this.
It takes a group of people, yep.
Yeah.
and we've got busy days.
Yeah,
And
we all have. Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and in the busy, are you silent?
Yes, I have more silent moments than frazzled moments, but sometimes it is so intense because I'm involved in a lot of crisis management activities, that I have to step back, take my breath. But I'm practically busy 12 hours a day with work. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I recognize I'm on 24/7 at the moment as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And check in who is on. Is it your presence that's on?
At the moment. Now,
Yeah.
you mean? Or during the
Anytime.
day, anytime. Well, I could. It really helps this these meetings because you drag me to my ears to my presence, and I can catch myself drifting off.
Yeah.
And I had a situation today with one of my colleagues. It was exactly the same situation as a week before. I had a discussion with him, and the week before I was very frustrated and irritated that there was no progress in a difficult issue we were managing. And today I could open up, be with him, understand him better, be more compassionate than the week before. And that has definitely to do with that I'm on this program now.
Yeah, beautiful.
So, yeah.
So when we know that we are around beings that we've still got a little bit more harmonic tuning in, just feel your heart as you're walking to that meeting. Come in a little bit, breathe into your sacred heart. Ask your presence to rise up in this moment like never before if it catches you right then in that moment. Or ask, as you're walking towards anything that that has been challenging before, that's the great beauty of the play, that we can consciously set our path from this now moment, and then we can see it showing up. And when you named, I can recognize that I can be a bit frazzled, that frazzled, I want you to ask your presence to show you many steps before you get to the peak of being really recognizing that you're frazzled. Ask your presence to catch the first breaths of that. And then just in that catching is a simplicity of belly breathing, feeling the heart and allowing that moment. Yeah?
Yeah.
So when you're in the privilege of working in crisis in particular and organizing, it's very important for you to take those conscious breaths, to consciously, and enjoy. How many times in one day can we call upon, may my presence rise up in this moment like never before? And you'll be so surprised how that breath rises up. And in the simplicity, because you're already in presence, it might be very subtle, the waves, but where it will show up is, like you were saying, from the previous meetings to now, the difference.
Yeah, very big difference.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so pleased that you're in the position to help people in the crisis, and I'm so pleased it's your presence that's in there. We're really lucky to have you in there, because as you can see, there's a lot of people that aren't so fortunate that has the tools.
That's right. Yeah. Yes. And although it's a crisis, I'm also enjoying the play very much, and it elicits a lot of beautiful things. I see a lot of people becoming their best selves, even though it's very intense at times.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the glory.
Yeah.
And like you said, you know, you're dragged by your ear. Well, it's really clear humanity's being dragged by
yes.
It
is. Yeah.
To come home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And surprisingly, a lot of people want to stay home that have to go out to work, and now they're in.
They are.
Regardless. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's such an opportunity. You know, it is a celebration, and unfortunately, it has been through suffering. Yet we can transcend all suffering, because suffering just comes on the table. Yeah? And we can be still for all those. We do not even need to be in the direct contact to feel humanities or feel an individual's suffering. And as it rises, we get wind of that feeling and let it land in the pure heart.
Yeah.
And the sacred takes a fresh breath through our system. So wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, who would like to come on?
Yeah.
Yes, Vasudeva, lovely.
Well, it's interesting. I'm noticing now as I raise my hand when I come on like this, which usually I feel in the belly, and then once I start speaking, it kind of goes away. But what I wanted to mention is that this morning before I got out of bed, there was this whole download of information that everything is well everywhere in the world, and that the perfection of what's happening is happening because the presence is there without my needing to do anything.
Yes.
That
yes.
I didn't make what happened this morning happen. It happened because presence was causing it. And it feels like such a relief to me that that I don't have to do something in order to use some of these tools that we're talking about. It's almost like it's so wonderful and it's not my fault. You know what I mean?
Yes, and let all that land, because yes, you know, of course we don't have to do anything as such. Yet the tools in the simplicity of even playing once brings a remembrance for your presence and your whole system in particular of how to play.
Yes, and it wasn't, I didn't have the awareness. It was just as I was waking up. So,
yes. See, that's a really nice point. It's like the sunrise and sunset. It's a gateway between. It's before your mind's really kicked in.
Yeah.
And it comes in. It takes that opportunity, like the divine play with this virus takes the opportunity, you know? Yeah. It's all divine orchestration, all of it.
Yeah. And then what I noticed later was how to play it. That I wasn't doing that at the time it was happening. But after I got up and, brushed my teeth and washed and everything, then as I was doing that, then I remembered, oh, let this land in my heart. And so that's what I've been doing since I got up.
And what did you notice when you consciously let it land in your heart?
What I notice is that it's actually so relaxing. It's not like I have to be on guard all the time, or that I have to make something happen. Yes. It's divine is always happening. And
every breath.
Yeah. So for my system, it feels to me like it's delicious. Like I can see outside and the sun is shining.
It is delicious. That's right. It is absolutely delicious.
The mountains are...
Can you just repeat that again?
So it's like having, which it's like having banana bread for breakfast every morning, some delicious thing that you take in. And
it's a nice point that that you're touching on, that like we have these tools and we know how to play, and to really remember we are that, it's already in play. And, I was sharing in here that, there's a time that you focus on the tools and you play. And there's a time that you adjust and you do the exercises, or you sing and you chant, or and you create. And there's a time that you just checking in, that you're allowing ordinary being. You're giving your energetic the space just to be, and it's such a good point to check the finery of how we're playing, because awareness is already here. We don't have to try to be aware. Yeah, our sacred heart is already here. Our presence, once we touch on our attention on the sacred heart, and once we name to bring forth presence just rises. It's like it gives us the free will and choice to play. However, it gives us the freedom to play. And as soon as we turn our attention on it, then it rises up to meet us. And it is never short of, as soon as our attention's there, to rise up. It is a constant. So there's times that we're manually playing. There's a time that we can see it automatically happens. And there's a time that our whole system just drops into an isness of being. Yeah?
Yes.
When it's coming in, that, this is when it comes in through that gateway, then there's something in particular that's, it's like presence just slipped in. So I'm inviting you to be willing to let go of that beautiful mind of yours and to be in more silence for a few days. Not the whole program, just, and every reach that you go out to communicate with someone, and don't hear this wrong, that I'm not saying not to communicate to who you really need to. Just check in. Who is that that's going out? Check in and feel the pure heart, and feel and check in, because we are all one, and there's no gap. We are already connected. yet there's something in your system that steps out. Yeah, there's something in, and it comes under heart fire. You know, even though it expresses through the mind, it's in, you know, it's in the heart fire. So the opportunity for everybody to feel your heart fire, which is the ordinary heart. So the ordinary heart comes under the fire element, and it has 4 aspects. It has 4 organs in here. So one is the pericardium, that's the heart protector. So when we're from silence out into the world, in every experience, is the heart protector. It's the buffer. It's the PR officer for the heart. Yeah. And then you've got the triple heater, which is the balance, you could say, upper burner, upper section of the body, the middle section, and the lower. Or you could say heaven energetic, human experience, and the earth grounding. Yeah. So that's the triple heater. And then you have the small intestines that sorts everything out. Yeah. So when we're working in crisis, or, you know, following, tracking, being with other people's energy, and, you know, presences coming through, it's really important to just take the moment and check who's in play. Is it one of those organs, you know, including the heart, you know, I'll say that again, that goes with the other 3. Check who is in play there. Is it your ordinary heart, or is it your pure heart? And, you know, because even if it's 2% of the ordinary heart, it's still playing in duality, and it'll create a disruption. Or if you're sorting through everything, your small intestines is going to get overloaded. Your capacity to discern a lot of sounds at once and clearly hear them all at once is a clear indication that the small intestines is in overload. Or you can see that you've got all this heavenly energy, and then the physical body, are you actually grounding it? So the invitation again is to allow any heart fire, any disruption in any of the fire element to come to the sacred heart. And in particular, you know, it's easy for us to, as I'm speaking, identify where it is, and simultaneously, I'm hoping you're all playing it as you're identifying it and letting it land very softly and no effort into the heart. But where I'm really interested is in the unseen, and to allow yourself the space to bring in the unseen and see what happens in the play.
Right.
To enjoy that play, and, you know, because where I can smell how your system wanted to show you that, because you are that, you're a very evolved soul, you know that. And, you know, for the invitation is be more silent than ever before. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Beyond the ever imagine of silence, beyond the ever imagine of the glory that can pulse through your system. And, you know, there's a part that is like all that mind, all that energy of the mind, even the deliciousness of your streaming of omnipresence on the mind, all the deliciousness, let that land in the heart. Yeah, there's some sort of anchoring that is coming. that's starting to be here and can be here in this instant. You can play it in the instant, but watch the mind doesn't whisper in, I'm not sure about that. Yeah? That's sort of getting close to what the dialogue's about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't actually remember the dialogue, more the feeling of it.
Yeah, good. Well, lucky we record it. And sometimes when you're in the baking, it doesn't matter. You know, when you're baking to get the aha moment, you might sit back and record it, listen to the recording 10 times, but right where you're to bake yourself, you'll get taken by your presence into a particular play, and then when you get past that bit in recording, you'll come back in. But I want you to recognize that, because you know there's a baking in play, there's a snowball in play. It's really nice to be on that play, to recognize that your mind and your presence comes together and plays just like that, how you can get taken out and brought back in, because we assume that we're in the orchestration of it, yet we're not. Omnipresence is in the orchestration of it. Yeah. And so I look forward to you listening to the recording, and I'm curious to see if you will get taken out. And if you get taken out and then suddenly realize, oh, you've just come back in your focus of listening, then you know you've been taken out and you know you're still in the snowball. So that in itself is an opportunity to once again go in, asking whatever's on the table, even if it's very subtle, to be seen, that unseen, to show itself. And then you may find, if you rewind it, that you can listen to it. Yeah.
Very good.
And all of these tools are innate capacities within the human experience to support our full embodiment. They're part of the creation design. And we're to learn how to play this instrument more and more. There is so many glorious pathways of energetics that are ripe for all of us to play. Yeah. Once we're anchored in presence, really anchored in presence, there's a play beyond that. Yeah. And because we all know the silence, we all know the tools, that's the invitation. And as we go into another depth within ourselves, you know, it's like tenfold or 100-fold other beings come and sit in our seat, because the collective consciousness, there's no gaps energetically. Yeah. So as soon as we transcend something, somebody can come into that seat as an opportunity to transcend that. Yet there's already a pathway of expansion that we have laid down already. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way of seeing it. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to share with you, Vasudeva.
Thank you.
Lovely. Iche. Okay. Yes, Cindy. Lovely. And then Thomas, you come on. Hello. Hello. Yeah, now I can. Lovely.
Yeah, I feel my heart like going.
Can I ask you to turn your volume up a little bit?
Yeah, sorry. Like this?
Yeah, a little bit louder.
This is the loudest.
Okay, great. That'll be good then.
Yeah, there's just so much energy in my system.
So just take the moment as you're dialoguing. There's so much energy, you're feeling it and allowing that energy to come all the way home. And what are you noticing? And whatever you're noticing, allowing it to land in the heart. And you're allowing that donut check that you're softening and supporting.
There's so much heat.
Yeah. And that's lovely because you know that pathways are opened up when the heat comes through. Yeah. And, just checking that you're really allowing it. I know that heat that can come through. We all know that heat that can come through. Yeah. So, if the heat gets too intense, you can put a green and violet ray colour around you and you'll find that you'll cool down your system. Just not through visualization, because visualization is too close to the mind and the mind will get tempted to come in. But if you feel the green light, feel it and smell it, and the violet light behind you, you'll find that there'll be a coolness within the heat. Yeah. Can you say that again, please?
Yeah, I feel the calmness, and it was like in an instant, actually. As soon as I like felt it, it calmed down. Why I wanted to give you a report was because I am not able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
there's a lot of energy in my throat, and I use like during the nights like the different tools, but there's a little mind sneaking in that says that I am not 100% able to do this.
Yeah, so you allow that to be. You know, it's not like that's an unfamiliar little whisperer, you know, and so you're not going to war against that. But see if you don't change direction. You know, at night, one of the most simplest things is that you do a rotational awareness, like a yoga nidra, around the body. Because, you know, like we are this sort of hive of light, we're coloured light beams, energy. And the colours are continually changing depending what's happening in our systems. And so you're a hive of activity, yeah? And, you know, especially when we're doing retreats and things, that hive of activity can, you know, like the organs all realigning together, learning to sing in harmony. And then all the chakras are coming on board. And then all the bodies of consciousness are coming on board. And the more space we can give it. But what happens is we've got a lot of Shakti. And you'll find one energy center in particular will have an incredible cleansing and realignment. So you're noticing a lot of energy around the throat chakra, which is wonderful. So can you check in your whole chakra system right now? Just feel it. Feel each one of your energy centers. And which one is the sweetest?
I would say my second.
From the bottom or the top?
The bottom.
Yeah.
Second.
So that's the seat of the soul. Yeah. So then when you've got all this energy happening here, just breathing in and out through hara, below the navel. Yeah. And allow the breath to become oceanic, because what happens, we've often got in play one of the energy centers that is, you could say, is our saving grace, and another one acts out or comes to the table to be played. But we've always got one that is our saving grace, that's our ally in that particular play. So that's what came. So that's your ally. But don't be fixed if, you know, checking in, whatever you're up against or meeting or challenged, you know, or even in the divine play, check which one's your ally. And then that's a key here, that you can just rest your attention, breathe, get the energy flowing as a feeling through the system, and then start your yoga nidra rotation around the body and reassure this energy center. So the gatekeeper of this energy center is Archangel Michael. It's the sword of truth. It's the ethereal energy. Yeah. So another play is that you can go into spontaneous prayer here to Archangel Michael, the blue ray. Feel the essence, what the blue ray is for you. It's the sword of truth. Now, often people assume that the truth is about outside of yourself, the truth in whatever. Actually, it's the other way. It's the intimate truth in your own being. Because then when you meet that, what is radiates out from you, emanates, is truth. Yeah? But often we're looking outside. So enjoy that intimate truth in your own energy field in fresh play. And if this is all really built up, feel like you can breathe in, surrender, and then let it go. Yeah, breathe in, enjoy the play, yeah. You can bring in fresh radiance of pure energy, and you can allow, and through the day you can play with this, allow that pure blue ray light like a balloon filling up in every breath with fresh pure radiance of the blue, and see what settles down, how it settles down. I'd like to hear from you, because and so I'll just check in. So when you're laying and you're saying you're not sleeping, how are you playing that?
I do the yoga nidra,
Yeah.
And the one with the mudra that you taught me with this.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
And then if that doesn't work, like I'll keep laying and like concentrate on my belly breathing. Yeah. And then I'll sit up again and meditate, or I'll just lay down with my legs up against the wall. But it's not like I don't feel. I'm embracing it as well. Like, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. If this is it, then bring it on.
That's the way. Yeah. So watch that you're not inciting the energy, because this is great. This mudra is really nice over the heart energy center, and it's a beautiful one. It's as above, so below. And you can lock this in, and you put it over the heart chakra. And if you're laying in Shavasana and you do this, you might need 2 pillows on either side of your elbows, because you'll fall out. And just remember, the thumbs and the little fingers are together. So when you're playing in that is bringing omnipresence up and through the form and the formless, and meeting at the heart. Now, there's times that you can play that, and that'll pull all the energy together and you'll go off. If you're playing it for a little while and you're not going off, then let it go. Because, and like you're aware that all this energy center, this is what's wanting to be tended to, and you're pulling everything to the heart. So I want you to play a little bit more consciously in the open discovery in this energy center in the day. There's another really nice art that you can roll over and say to your system, I'm going to sleep now. I'm pulling my energy in, and I'm going to rest. And each breath, as you sort of roll over, take your comfortable sleep position, what you really like. And then each breath, you're pulling yourself right in. No efforts, really surrendered. And as you breathe out, it's just a soft surrender. And there's a conscious, it's like you're closing the energy in. That's what's happening. Yeah. Because it's important for the yin organs to be nourished at night, that we do put ourselves to bed. I've learned it because of having so much Shakti all my life. I'd be just awake and not disturbed or anything. Yet it has a price on your organs, And if the omnipresence isn't clearly going through the organs, and if you've got a young family, you're on 24/7 already. Yeah. So you want to take that nourishment of the physical. So enjoy the play. I look forward to hearing what unfolds. And we always, when these plays come, just be in open discovery. Because as I'm sharing, things will come up and there'll be a knowing. And don't leave that knowing as a full stop. Keep it open and let's see what comes. Yeah? I love the throat energy center, by the way, the blue ray. It's, you know, each one of them have their gems, you know. Yeah, lovely.
I know now which color mala to choose.
Yeah, there you go. We'll have to. Yes. Whoops. Ilya, I hope you're hearing this. We need to make an order of it.
Send me 10.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you
Lovely.
so
Oh, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. Thomas, you want to come on, lovey?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me? You can hear me?
Yes.
Good. Hello, everybody. I love you. And hello, San and Jan. Thank you for working in the background.
And Marie, Christina, and Damon.
And they, thank you.
Yes.
Hi, Vasudeva. So, I would like to talk about being in the world, being connected to presence and the Sacred Heart, and being in an environment which is not so connected to this. And I find myself that I have a knowing, that I'm connected to a knowing, that I'm connected to presence and the Sacred Heart. And I split from it to buy a little nearness in the world.
Yes.
And this is major painful. And on the other hand, there is something playing. You mentioned yesterday or the day before that you said that we are evolved souls, which doesn't make us better than anybody else. And for me, there is a glitch that I think, okay, I can't stick to my knowing because it would be arrogant, because I would call myself being more evolved than the other one, who's probably not. I don't know if so. And this creates a feeling of separateness, which is hard to bear, and where I can't embody the Sacred Heart in the world as fully as I would, as I desire to.
It's just too much mind.
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning, you know, when you're out in the world and you see that there's others, you know, that you're in presence and you're moving around, and it's clearly they're on their surface, they are playing on the surface of their being. Yeah. And we're in presence, and we know our essence, we know our true nature, we know our core, we know the flame within us, and we choose to bring that flame forward and live there. And we see others that are in play of terror, fear, mind. Yet if you just take the moment, wherever you are on the planet is omnipresence. We are omnipresence, and we're in a soup of omnipresence. So whatever environment you're in is omnipresence. We're in a soup of it. We're not, it doesn't come and go, it's there. Yeah.
So playing on the surface is an expression of omnipresence too.
Yes, it's not, all of it is omnipresence. We get free will and choice to play here in this dimension, any of those depths, any of them. Yeah, yeah. And that's the sweetness of it. That's the beauty, that we do have free will and choice. To be able to have, consciously choose where we play. To remember that, and there's a lot of mind that, yes, it's understandable, that comes up, and about, where, if you allow that you're an evolved soul, if you recognize you are that, and somewhere in that recognition you are that, you have come out you've come out into the mind to experience or play that or be with that. Now, if you allow that to come back into the sacred heart, there is just grace that responds to that. There's just grace that holds those ones that are clearly in terror or mind or, whatever, that surface expression. And often those that are in the surface expression have got a lot of energy underneath that they don't have the tools to be able to meet. It's as simple as that. Yet by your very presence, and you say that you go out to meet them, and I know that you go out to meet them. We can go out at any point from our heart. You anchor in from your heart, and you can play right out on those edges, but you have not shifted your anchor. You'll only get in strife if you shift your anchor. Because when you shift your anchor, you'll be going against your own grain, your own energy field that already knows where to live from. Yeah? So from that place, it's like, not unlike we're here in this present moment. Now, if we go to the past, literally take our attention to the past, or we allow the past to come to us, and we experience from here. Yeah.
I recognize a pattern.
Yeah.
Which says I don't have the right to say I'm an evolved soul. And I bring it to the heart right now. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're most welcome. It's a nice reminder, Thomas, and thank you for all of us, that when we're out in the world or working with others, that yes, there's innate joining capacity, that if we remain in our heart, pure heart, presence knows exactly how far to take us out onto that edge as we stay in the here, in the heart anchor. Yeah, it's almost like, the muse and improvising with music, and how you can just come in, or, Annika, when you're in a meeting and you're watching the flow of and the pulse of a meeting, and you stay in your sacred heart, and presence will just come in. Will just slide in. But if you go into your mind and try and attract everyone, you're out on the edge. You've forgotten your anchor. And as soon as you allow that anchor, now this can be out in the world, and it can just be in every breath for our own experience. Don't forget that anchor, and then whatever arises can come home. Yeah? And presence can stream forth. And these physical ears hear it. And in the humbleness, now when presence is streaming forth, and we hear it with these ears, because it's in the instant that it streams, just remember, because you'll be nailing it, whether it's whatever you're doing, make sure it all lands in the sacred heart. Otherwise, the ego can creep in before you know. Yeah. So the gift in that is the glory of staying anchored in the sacred heart. To feel it, to invoke it up. Because we can never have too much of sacred heart. It's boundless. It's a boundless energetic for us to tap in, live and embody and stream forth in every breath. Omnipresence is the instrument, and omnipresence is what streams forth through you. So sweet. Lovely. Now, somebody else like to share? Barbara, what about you? I haven't heard. I'd like to.
4 more minutes.
Okay. We've named that we've got 4 more minutes. It's stretch time.
Hello, Pia.
Hi, Barbara. Lovely to see you and have you on board.
Same, wonderful. Yeah, I have been watching my breath and noticed when being out at work that the breath is moving up. So usually it's when I'm present, it would be like my awareness is here, my center, and the breath in the hara. Yeah. And when I'm at work, it's like everything shifts one level, like the basic, the energy awareness is more in the head and the breath is in the chest, and there's more tension in the belly.
Great. So next time when you're noticing the breath up in the chest, because I believe you said, or I heard in between the lines, is that if your breath's up, you may not feel that you're as centered as what you can be.
Yes.
Now that's the glitch. Because in that moment, without changing the breath, just feel your presence, and your presence is here. Awareness is showing you that the breath's up. Yeah. And yes, when we're really grounded in it, the breath is naturally down. But then if our breath goes everywhere, what's happened to presence? It is still here.
It's still here, yes.
And what we're noticing is that something's moving through the system, whatever it is, and the breath is finding its way home. So it's here moving. It's moving up. It's finding its way. It's coming up and it's just sweeping. So that, you know, and often when it's up, there's an experience. It can be a key that, oh, there's something here that's bubbling up, or there's, you know, maybe a resistance, or it might be moving you through some pattern even, that then the next person you are seeing would have brought that pattern up, but you're playing it the moment before. So when you go to play, then you've already moved through it. Yeah. So we don't know until we really explore it. So be an open discovery. But the catch is the assuming that presence isn't there.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
So when the breath is up, feel present.
So then, yeah, what I notice is it's really like a concept that the breath should always be in the hara. So then that's of course a glitch too, like something should be different, right?
That's right. And the key is allowing everything to be as it is.
Exactly. Yes.
There is a broader knowing that when the breath is down in hara, the whole system is really quite dropped and nourishing. Yet the breath is an indicator that you're meeting things. So we don't want to control that. We want to allow that natural intelligence. But presence isn't switched on or off. It still remains. And that, you know, we were talking yesterday about another tool. Oh, that's right. It was about if you're sitting in meditation and you notice that you're moving, you know, and there's a movement. And if you're a type of person that, say, if you get activated or something's going on, you tend to move around to unwind it, to bring yourself home, then it's quite nice in the meditation to allow the body to drop in stillness and to be firm and loving and gentle and hold the stillness. Yeah. Yet this is not a fixity. If we name that, just like the breath, as a fixity, then what would happen is if the body starts to want to unwind, and we've kept that, no, Pierre said, stay still, then what would happen is enormous pain would come up rather than unwinding the system. Yeah. So none of these tools, they have their glorious play within the play, but everything's solid in fluidity. That's the beauty of the discernment, to allow, you know, this organic, alive play. Nothing is fixed. Nothing is rigid. Yeah?
It's interesting that you mentioned this with needing to move. I don't experience it so much in meditation sometimes, but today I was on a walk and I noticed because I was playing with the different tools and of course, you know, trying to be in presence and experience from the heart. And I noticed that sometimes I really have to stand still, to almost like to, presence is always here, but to kind of get a certain focus, because there's so much energy in my system generally, which really makes it's flowing inside, but also makes my body move. So I really just today noticed this, that I simply have to stand still, short for short while, but to somehow anchor the energy.
Yeah. And that's okay. That's okay. So that it brings you, yeah, like that, down. So I want you to feel that, and then next time you feel that you're moving and you want to anchor, I want you to keep moving and feel that as you move. And you might need to at first slow the steps down, but see if you can bring that in the movement. Just play.
Yes.
And if it doesn't drop in, then come back and be still. You know, allow yourself to drop in. It's just that it's a pattern that you've taught yourself, the system, that this is what it needs to be really there. You know? So a nice play would be, you know, the walking meditations would be good. So set your space that you can walk in a circle, and you can have a mantra going and walk to the mantra, so that you're bringing that omnipresence, really depth of space within a movement. Yeah. And just to fine-tune your language, as you're walking through the forest, trying to be present, I want you to watch your language and get rid of that trying to be presence, because I know you're in presence, but the mind sort of overlays it. You know, I'm walking in presence, or I'm resetting myself in presence. But it's without trying, because it's a surrendered place. So please share. You were about to say something.
I just wanted, as you know from Rishikesh, I really loved that tool you gave us with the walking and like stitching in the earth.
Yeah.
To ground and just gives another element. So I wondered, when you say practicing walking meditation, would that be adding too much to at the same time being aware of the stitching, or would you recommend that?
Yeah, well, that is part of that. Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. Yet the simplicity that you already know, that you did it very clearly, that energy. So you know that as an energy. Yeah. So play with it as an energy. You know, when you feel a little bit ungrounded or short of presence, just bring that, feel that. And, you know, it's consciousness speed in the moment, because all these experiences are to be tapped in, to be utilized as a resource within the instant. So you know that feeling of So then you bring that in and you feel it. And you watch the whole system remembers it and goes, yeah. So then you let go of the pattern, I have to be still for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing or not doing.
Yeah, because I notice the body knows it, remembers, yes.
Body remembers it.
It's
And the body remembers the pure heart. And we celebrate the pure heart together. Lovely.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Okay, everybody, it's a lovely note to finish off with today, and you know, enjoy the tools, enjoy the play, enjoy your hearts. Iche.